Right, what I want to go over and just share with you some bits. I'm setting up for the week, so making sure we are good to go and ready for the week. So I've just written some basic things down to look over, think about, and then you're going to have a little exercise at the end of this to go away and plan your week. So I'll share my screen with you. I've just got some points on it. Here are the points. It's just written up, so don't expect any fancy presentation. Right, so here's my screen. So some points that I want, really important to note is this first bit. So what do you want? Really important that you get clear on this. So I'll go into it in a second. What do you actually want from the week? And that's the first question you ask yourself. You've got 3 questions to ask, and then you've got a bit of work to do after that. So find out what you want. And then once you've written it down, ask yourself again what you want, just to double check that is the right answer of what you want to achieve. And what I mean by this is what do you want from the week ahead, the next couple of days? What is it you're aiming for, you need to do? I've put here about your trajectory, because if we speak about goals and you're not quite clear 100% on where you want, and we've done this before on other workshops about having like a compass, of just having sort of guide of where you want to get to. So let's say you're not 100% clear on where you're going, but you roughly know what you want, then just work towards that. It doesn't have to be super, super, super clear. It helps if it is, but as long as you're heading in the right direction, thereabouts, then you're going to be doing the right things to get the results that you want. So I put here as well, is this a lesser week? So sometimes we'll have weeks where we're really on it and really good and focused, and other weeks, what we should be doing is just accepting that I can't do as much this week. I can't do this that I did last week. So rather than quitting and stopping and having weeks where you're on or off, you just need to decide that you're happy with it, you're aware of it, and you're going to be able to do. So you're not going to be able to do as much as you would like, but there's still things you can do. So have a little think about what you actually want from the week. It could be anything. The trajectory that we're heading in, is it a lesser week? Do you need to scale back a little bit, or do you need to step things up? Have you got a clearer week when you can work harder? Because again, we're going to have weeks, if we look at stepwise, for example, you're going to have weeks where you can do more with your steps, and then some weeks where you've got less. So have a little think about this for this week. And do what you can until next week. That's just moving on from the next point. So just doing what we can do rather than stopping and quitting altogether. Because even when we have the awful, busy, long weeks, there's still things that we can do. It's just about doing the something rather than the nothing. So next bit, awareness. And with the 28X, we spoke about this a lot. What's going to challenge you the most? The easiest way to get through things is just knowing and being aware of the challenges ahead. A little exercise that I'd invite you to do is just write down the things that could go wrong this week and list them all, and then you're aware of them, and it just psychologically makes you feel better because you know all the things that could go wrong, but you're still able to crack on and get the results. So what's going to challenge you the most? What's coming up this week? Have you got longer meetings? Have you got trips away or things on? The weather, I know we don't control the weather and it shouldn't control us, but there's going to be things where maybe you've got to leave a little bit earlier to do something, or if it's going to be cold at the start of the week and warm at the end of the week, does that affect how you're going to be setting up for your exercise? And then this last little bit on this point, if this, then that. So can we start doing things when we've got challenging weeks that remind us to do something? So the example is, if I'm sat on my laptop, then that is that I have some water. So if this, then that. If I'm sat at the laptop, I've got to have water. If I'm doing something, I've got to do this. So pairing things up and always having a if this, then that will help you, especially in challenging weeks. And it's dead simple things, like going out for a walk, for example. Have you got something to snack on rather than ending up in pub, for example? Next bit. What can you do daily? And this is the point where you need to start from now with your little exercise. Start with you first and work backwards. We are our biggest asset, really. So if we don't look after ourselves, then it's going to be a tough week. If we look after ourselves, things become easy. We're able to deal with challenges better because we're physically and mentally in a better space. And this is where exercise and us and looking after ourselves becomes really, really important, because it allows us to be able to deal with things a lot better. So we start with us first, we charge our batteries, and then we're able to give out to other people, commitments, work-wise, family, social, friends, a lot more because our battery's full. Try doing that on an empty battery. You don't get as good results from it. People won't see the best you. And it's just generally a slog. So there's some points to think on. We haven't finished just yet. The title was Get Results in 7 Days or Less. You can just, this time tomorrow, 24 hours, if you do this and commit to things, then you'll see a change anyway in just your general energy levels, because you know what you're doing, you're clear on what you need to do. And rather than just setting out and having a big expansive list of 100 things to get done, we've shortened it and doing the basics and doing them well every day for 7 days. And again, with the 28X, it's nothing fancy. It's just nailing the basics, which you've already seen is getting people some serious results. So have a little think about what you can do daily. What are the absolute minimums that you can get done? We'll cover them all the time. Water, a little bit of exercise, and your foods are a good place to start. Once we've got those 3 things covered, move up and start adding bits in, move up and start adding bits in. So pick your daily non-negotiables. And what I'd ask yourself as well, if you're not going to do alternate days, like if someone's away for work for one day, you might want to pick different things for that day to do than others. But essentially, you want to have daily things that you can get done no matter what. And just touch on the exercise bit with someone that I spoke to this morning. They've set out to do 10 minutes of walking every day. Every day so far they've done it. They've done more than 10 minutes, but because they've set a benchmark of doing an absolute minimum, it gets them out, and that's the hard bit. And then once they're out, they're actually doing more than 10 minutes. So have a think about what you can set yourselves on the basics and plan it. I do it every week, not always probably as in-depth. I should do it every week, but I know my productivity, how much exercise I do, my foods are all a lot better when I've got things planned out. How that looks is up to you, but there's a phrase and there's a saying is show me your schedule and I'll show you your priorities. So get your week scheduled ahead, do this, make sure you know what you want from the week. Ask yourself, if I was sat here now looking back at last week, what do I want to have achieved? It doesn't have to be big, massive things. It can just be really small things. And then from there, pull out some daily things that you can start doing and do them every single day without fail. Set big expectations and then miss one day and it's hard to get back on. Set a couple of things that you know you can get done easily. And then if you keep finding them easy, start bumping them up and making them a bit tougher. So like on the 28X, for example, just as a heads up, when we get towards the end of this week come in, you're all going to be set a challenge to start upping your game if you're finding things easy. And it's the same with this. If you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're cruising along, start upping it and increasing things to make things tougher. So to recap, make sure you know what you want from the week ahead. Make sure you know what challenges you're going to have to overcome and just be aware of them, what struggles you're going to have. And it's not about binning it off. It's about adapting to it and just making sure we change around what we're going to get done. And then it's about setting your daily points. What I would do if you're working from home is to set some little blocks in your calendar that you can just go for 5-minute walks around the house, get away from your screen, even if it's just a 2-minute break from the screen to go downstairs or something like that. Get them scheduled in because you are a priority and should be in your schedule. A recap, make sure you know what you want, make sure you're aware of the struggles and challenges coming up, and then set your daily things. If you haven't done it while we've been on this, that's fine. Do not enter tomorrow without having some sort of plan. It can be in depth. So like my calendar is just blocked out. I like to see it. So I know exactly where I'm up to probably every hour. If that's not for you, that's fine. If it's as simple as writing 3 things down in your notes on your phone that you want to achieve and just make sure you get those done, then that's also fine. If you want a bit more accountability, pop them in the groups or send them over to me. Any questions? And this is how you get results in 7 days. Right. I'll just stop recording.